Hey everybody, and welcome back to Code Interpret. So let's look at question number 2. It says create a single pod of image HTTPD in namespace default. The pod should be named pod1 and the container should be named pod1-container. Your manager would like to run a command manually on occasion to output the status of that exact pod. Please write a command that does this into this file, the command.sh, and the command should use kubectl. All right, so we have two tasks. We need to create a pod with this configuration, okay, and then we need to create a shell script that would allow this file to be run as a command, so the manager could use it to get the status of that pod. Okay, so let's create the pod first. Okay, so just write kubectl run and then the name of the pod1, then the flag image, and paste this. Then you dry run, because okay, so you need to dry run this and create a YAML file out of it. Why? Because um, the imperative command doesn't have an option for creating a container, okay, or giving your container a name. So you need to create a file out of it first, and then you can edit that using the vi editor. Okay, you come here, come to the name, press I for insert, and type the name of the container, and then press escape, WQ, enter. All right, and then to create the resource, kubectl create -f, the name of the pod.yaml. Okay, let's get the pod. Okay, so this is a pod. While it's being created, let me show you how you can. So the whole idea is that when you practice, right, when you keep practicing, you tend to uh, memorize, and you memorize all the flags and all that, at least the main flags that uh, you would normally use most of the time, right? But if there's something that you want to check out and you're not sure about the flag, or you want to see more options, just write kubectl run. So run is used to create a pod, okay, and just type -h, and this would give you the details of all the flags that you can use, okay, to create a YAML file, and it has like a small description as well and some examples. Okay, so the one that we used was this, the name of the flag, the flag, and the name of the pod. Okay, all right. So, and then here's another example, dry run, to print the YAML format. So you can also, like, you don't have to use the greater than sign. You can just run the command till the image and till here, till -o and YAML. This would basically print the entire YAML for you, and then you just have to copy and paste it. So either way, whatever works for you. All right, so let's do kubectl get pods to check if it's running. It's not running, it has an issue. Says image pullback. Okay, so the thing is that this image may have a problem. Okay, so which is why it's unable to pull and run the pod. So let's check the problem. Just write kubectl describe pod1, and this will tell you exactly why it failed to pull the image. Okay, now because we're just practicing, and obviously a real exam would have the a correct name of the image, or at least the examiner would make sure that the image is actually working, right? But for now, since you just want to practice, um, just Google Docker Hub and type HTTPD. Okay, then select tags, and then pick any tag you want. I would prefer like the one with the least, like the smallest size. It's about 18, 19 MB, and then pick this tag, right? You just copy it and then open up your YAML file again, new pod.yaml, and then go to your image section, press I, delete this http colon, and then the name of the tag, okay? And then escape colon WQ, you save it, and then you run kubectl replace force dash f with the file name, this, and then grace period if you want to like save time and quickly just make sure that it replaces it and creates a new pod, and there you go. Okay, so kubectl get pods, so now it's running. Okay, all right, now this is the first part of the question. The second part says that we need to create this file, okay, that would run a command using kubectl to print the status of the pod. Okay, so now there are two ways to get the status of the pod. First, we'll do kubectl get pod, the name of the pod, and then the JSON path. Okay, and the key, status, and phase. Okay, so it's giving us this output running. This is what they want. Okay, but they don't want the manager to type like the entire uh, command, right? So all you need to do is create a shell script. So use a VI editor to create a file. Let's say I'm not gonna use this path because this is a path for the virtual machine on the real exam. Okay, so we'll just use this name. Okay, so just have to use press I, describe the shell that you're gonna use, okay, or bash, and then the command get pods, pod1, so JSON path and the quotes, then dot state, status dot phase. Okay, escape and WQ. Now we need to make this file an executable. Okay, so Linux can recognize that as an executable file because by default normally files are created as with read and write permissions, so you need to add a permission for it to become an executable, and to do that you just do schmod, that's change mode, plus X is for the executable permission, and then the name of the file. Press enter, just check, and the name of the file is this, and it has the first R is for read, write, and X is for executable. It's become an executable. Now to be able to run this, to check if it's working, just write dot, because it's in the same current directory, and there you go, it's running. I mean, it's given an output. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so let me just show you another way of getting the status. Just write kubectl describe your pod 1, and you would see a thing called state over here. Okay. There you go, status here. Okay. So you could output this into a file as well, like, but this would be like a longer command. So you need to get familiar with the Linux programs, and so pod pod 1, and then use the grep program, or the grep command I, and status. Okay, so you could do this as well. So you do this, and then uh, standard output symbol into a file, let's say command.sh. Okay, and you can just check if it's working. There you go. So this file, the output of this command was sent into a file called command.sh, and then I checked if it's really there, and it did print the status, and it's totally fine. Now all you got to do is again change the mode of that file and make it executable, and now we can test run that file. Wait, did I spell it right? Just wait, chmod, yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. No. So the previous command just saved the entire status into that file, but that's not what we wanted to do, right? We need to make this file an executable file, so the command could run from inside, right? So we would just repeat what we did before, and I'm just gonna show you. Press Shift V, and then D, and then I, and then you just repeat the same process in bash. And instead of writing the JSON path command, just write kubectl describe pod 1, and then the grep command, and you just write status. And since we've already converted this into an executable file, it should run. There you go, it's working. All right. Okay. If you guys haven't liked or subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate if you do, um, especially if you find my content useful. Do that, and I would also be willing to respond to any queries or any kind of comments that you guys post on my video. Okay. All right. Thank you.